Sapporo's very ominously looking at me from my couch over there. Just fucking staring. I don't know what she wants. I think I may not survive the night, guys. I may get eaten. True Next, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Stibby, happy 10 streak. Thank you. Where is she going? Okay, she's going on to my like reading nook in the corner. This is why people are like, you need to give Sapporo a cat cam. And I'm like, I can't, bro. She moves so much. ADHD ass cat. Okay. Whatever. I'm going to be listening for the first bit because I have to make supper. All right. Good luck cooking, Cayenne. Have a good one. We'll see if we can hit a quorum here. I want to be taking notes together, guys, because welcome to our 1000xRESIST game discussion. It's our first time trying like a game club style discussion, so I'm actually really excited for it. I hope it will be satisfying, because this was the first time like uploading a let's play for me and not having chat there to discuss it immediately with me. Like, I feel like at the end of Signalis, we spent 3 hours literally just going through fan theories and like analyzing together. And I really enjoyed that, even though it was very exhausting to stream all of Signalis. So, I don't know. I hope this will like solve it. Happy 39 months, Cayenne! Can't wait to talk about this game! Woo! I have a book report, so let's hope I can multitask. Oh, what's the book report on Thai-Iced Tea? Hekki Grace Vivictus! I leave in an hour and a half for the US showing of the new Gundam movie. I didn't even know there was a new Gundam movie, Stippy. Wait, I'm gonna look it up. Gundam movie. There are 2 streams and a dangerous gravity. Hello, Asuna. Welcome to YouTube side. Let's see. Live action. Live action? Netflix? Sydney Sweeney? My God, what is happening out here? What is happening? That's a lot, guys. It's coincidentally very topical. No, not that. Okay. Then I don't know what. The new Gundam movie? Is there going to be a Gundam? I only see the live action. 2026? Oh, wait, I see Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway, The Sorcery of Nymph Circe? Second film in the Hathaway trilogy. Oh! Yeah, I am not up to date on my Gundam lore. This is interesting. I didn't know. This looks good, actually. Oh, Hathaway's Flash. Yeah, okay. Well, I hope you enjoy it in an hour and a half when you leave for it. It sounds fun. I'm really glad we're getting more of these, like, anime films in the US. The book is The Joy Luck Club. I love The Joy Luck Club. Well, I also have mixed feelings about The Joy Luck Club, but I love it. I really enjoy it. Okay, hold on. Let me see where we're at. Okay, cool. I'm trying to figure out how I want to start this. So I have a list of like discussion questions that I want to get to. And then there's also, frankly, like, I was going through all the comments again on all of the Let's Play videos, and I realized that there was a lot of stuff I didn't understand. Like from a storytelling perspective, there were details that I think I wasn't getting, or might disagree on, actually, with what other people concluded. So I was like, do we want to start with... wait, my webcam lost focus. Okay, I fixed it. I was like, did we want to start with just recapping? Oh no, my webcam lost focus again. What is going on? The stream is cursed. There are 2 streams and a dangerous gravity. Hello? Okay, I give up. I think that'll do it. Part of the game is also just hopping back into chapter select and commuting your own recollection of events. Yeah, I think like part of it, because so much of the game is literally about, oh fuck, I oversteamed my tea. So much of it is about like the... how memory itself is kind of undependable, right? And so they pretty explicitly call out the idea that reality itself is subjective. Like, sure, there are sets of objective truths, and then there are the ways that we perceive those truths and the ways that we live our reality. And so I think part of the point is that probably there are things that are meant to be kind of ambiguous. Like, not every question that I have about this game is going to have an answer, and I like that. But I also think there were some comments that made me wonder whether, like, which cases, where were the cases where there were things I was, like, maybe details I was missing, things that are factually true of the plot that I wasn't getting, and where I feel like people might have come to their own conclusions and then are over asserting it as truth, if that makes sense. Because I think it can be pretty easy to stray a little far on that end. Yeah. Hola Kami, hello. ADHD camera. Yeah. Kayan, thank you. This is one of my favorite overshirts, I guess. But you can also wear it as it's like a really long shirt. You can wear it as a dress if you want to. I'm not a dress wearer, but it's an option. I like it when there's versatility. You could say a diaspora of stuff. One thing I was really missing in a lot of the reviews I was reading, I feel like the diaspora perspective was surprisingly absent, or at least difficult to find as far as like blogs go. Maybe I needed to be watching videos, but to be honest, I don't like video essays anymore. I just don't watch them anymore. I don't know what it is. I don't watch video essays anymore. I would rather read somebody's like analysis blog. So I was going through a lot of those and I was like, a lot of these are not from the perspective of like Hong Kong and China diaspora. And I feel like I really ache for that representation because I'm Chinese, but I'm not Cantonese. I'm not from Hong Kong. I have a lot of friends from Hong Kong, but I'm not from Hong Kong myself. I've only ever been once. And I'm not super caught up on the history necessarily either. Like I know the bare bones basics of the umbrella movement, the protests in 2019, and then of course the most recent round also, but that's truly just as an outsider. Like I've never once felt like I really thoroughly understood Hong Kong, which is why I was really hoping we would get some diaspora representation today, but I guess we'll see. I think it was a starting point, but it jumped to something a lot more deep afterwards. For Hong Kong and diaspora experience, you mean, Kayan? I don't know if I would say more deep, but I do think it jumped to a lot of other topics. Yeah. Okay, so I also, run is a strong word, but I'm part of a book club that has been going on for about 6 years. And I think actually it's pretty crazy this lasted 6 years. But my favorite part of book club is actually taking like a joint notes document together. So I think that's how we should do it today. I have a Google Doc set up. If you would like to come in and type with me, you're very welcome to. I think I can set it up so that you can all stay anonymous as you type in it. And I just have literally just like a set of discussion questions. I want to run this like a fucking seminar, bro. And I wanted to just take notes with everybody. So, I guess first off, I should start with maybe my own thoughts. Here, let me move this so that it's a little, actually, this is probably the better layout to be in. Yeah. It looked like the game was about to talk about diaspora more. Yeah. It felt like it was about like, I always say, when I open to like, when I try to talk people into playing this game, right? I'm like, actually, that's one of the, questions to tackle later. As these come up, I'll put them in here. But one of them is like, how would you convince someone else to play this game? Like, what would your selling point be? And then the elevator pitch that I tend to give is 1000xRESIST is a game about Hong Kong. And it's also about diaspora and motherhood and coming of age and memory and trauma and perception, not versus reality, but sort of like in tandem with reality, and revolution and governance, and how we live in an imperfect world with imperfect solutions, but there's like not making a decision is still a decision. All of these things are true. And if those are themes that resonate with you and you appreciate good writing, you should play this game. And then usually I get one of two responses. One is like really overwhelmed, deer in the headlights, like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? In which case I'm just like, okay, this game isn't for you. And then the other response is, oh, that actually sounds right up my alley. Like, I'm gonna play it. So Tyus, like, you convinced me. Shifted and went somewhere else and smacked us unexpectedly in the face. Yeah, it like went a lot of places, but I also think, I don't know if I would say that it shifted even. I think it was, as ever, from the very beginning, very clear on what it was about. It's just that it took us a while to uncover those layers. I actually don't think this game ever pivoted. I'm often talking to Honkai fans and of course go with the Shattered Samsara comparison. Yes. I think the Shattered Samsara comparison is a real one. You can't extricate the Fuhua parallels for sure. Sunset Visitor themselves posted their inspirations for this game, And, well, there's a few, actually, there was a review that I was reading that I was really shocked to find. It was like, I'm not a Trekkie, a Star Trekkie, and I always wish I were. Like, I always wish that at some point in my life I had set aside some, I like continued to aim to become a Trekkie, and I just haven't made it there yet. But there was a reviewer who was like, oh, this is like Darmok, which is, let me just open it up on the wiki. It's like, there's an alien species that basically they use like a metaphorical language to speak that is based on their memories and history. And that's kind of, this reviewer was like, this game feels like the occupants were explicitly inspired by the Darmok. And that made me think like, oh fuck, right, this is what I get for not being on top of my Trekkie conversion timeline. An alternate but related version of diaspora from the perspective of Blue, who's an accumulation of selves. Oh, wait. Okay, let's start compiling a list of themes. We've touched on diaspora a whole bunch. Wait, I really like the phrase an accumulation of selves. It does feel like we come into Blue story so late that it's a little bit hard even to tease out like where their self starts and ends. Well, you could argue that applies to all of the clones, but anyway, okay, cool. These are our note buckets. And then let me see. My discussion questions are going to be at the top here. Okay, book club. Are you ready, nerds? You can't fit everything in the backpack. A diaspora of stuff, both first set in the bedroom scene. I remember I came upon the ending with all of the choices toggles, and my first reaction was, you can't fit everything in the backpack. I was like, instantaneously, like, I see what they're doing here. Doesn't mean I'm gonna not try to put everything in the backpack, though. Have you seen the cut content where the opening was originally a watcher playing hide and seek, looking for Fixer, who would presumably be in the train station? No, I haven't seen this. Wait, so instead of the like we're stabbing all mother opening, it's they're playing hide and seek. That would have been a really different vibe for sure. The occupants and keepers were very Honkai, and I guess I don't know if I'm fully dialed into Honkai enough to understand that parallel. There's also just the generational echoes of the miscs versus shells themselves being different generations of second order consequences and principle and errors. Yeah, I think an offshoot of the diaspora discussion is like generational themes, cycles, trauma, motherhood. Okay, cool. Cut content. I'm gonna have to look this up. Hold on. If I just Google like 1000xRESIST cut opening. Before we go way too deep, I just wanted to mention Sunset Visitor has an occupant plushie on pre-order until, wait, what does it look like? Sunset Visitor occupant plushie. I can't type today. Plushie. Oh my god. Bro is so ugly. I love it. I was really hoping it would be a secretary though. Okay, that's pretty cute. That's pretty cute. It's really interesting that they would be doing this now, like years out after the game released. They're like, yeah, now's a good time to release an occupant plushie. Saturn, hello, you missed nothing. We were doing just a really quick, like, how do we want to do things today kind of talk. But I do have this. I'm trying to think, like, at what point do I want to open it up to you guys? Okay, at some point I'm going to drop this link for you guys. I guess you could literally technically just, like, try to type it in, which is pretty funny. Maybe I should try to hide it. So you guys don't come in too early. When I'm ready, I will share the link. And then we can all write some notes. The themes I came up with, the immigrant's experience. Right, that's true. Diaspora. I'm going to add actually diaspora and immigrant experience together as a bucket. Contrast and relationships between first and second generation, or yeah, first versus second generation. I'm pulling out generational themes separate from that because I think they're related but not the same. Generation tension, racism and identity. Hong Kong, yeah, Hong Kong's history is one of the ones I wanted to tackle today also. Hong Kong, umbrella movement, protest. I would argue like protest and resistance strategy in general. They explicitly said be water at some point, and I was like, I genuinely didn't expect them to be that explicit about it. Activism, generational trauma, and cults. Cults is interesting, actually. I hadn't thought about the cults thing. I'm gonna pull out cults as its own thing. Secretary is mostly transparent. Yeah, I think instead of a plushie, secretary probably would have been like an acrylic figure or something, right? Human memory and cycles of violence. Yes. Yeah, memory. How did I want to... It was like memory versus reality versus like encoding, preservation, truth, but like in heavy hand quotes. And then under this I would put, or like related with, I don't know which one is the header and which one's the subheader, but like perception, how should I put this? Angles of perception, like points of view. Actually, the better way to frame that is probably perspective and POV rather than angles of perception. Okay. There's a secretary pin. What? Is it this? A t-shirt that remains and remains is so goofy. I don't think I see a pin in here though. Oh wait, no, this is the pin. It's a wounded secretary chain pin because the fourth shard is like separated out. That's fucked up. I really like that. It's on the Yeti. Okay. There it is. Yeah, the wounded secretary pin. Wow, it's still available for sale. That goes pretty hard, man. Does it glow in the dark? Oh my god! 1.5 inch glow in the dark chain pin. That's cool. I like that it's both bluish purplish because it was kind of both tones on secretary over time. Okay, cool. All right. We'll as more themes come up in discussion, I'll just continue appending them to this list. Appending. So you can take me out of CS. You can't take the CS out of me. And then in the meantime, I have... You have a Jiao photo framed on your shelf. Wait, that is diabolical, Asuna. Apparently they have framed, or they have like Jiao image merch. You too can have your own Jiao altar at home. That's fucked up. Oh my god, I just realized I'm in the wrong game category on Twitch. Okay, cool. All right, so what do I have over here? Oh, okay. I wanted to start with, I guess, just a quick introduction, right? So whether you played this game or not, and you're here, if you haven't played, by the way, if you haven't played this game and you're here for discussion, I feel like participating in discussion may actually dramatically, shall we say, change the way that you play the game if you end up playing it. So I would advise against being here if you plan to play the game, because I think it's the kind of game that, it's not shock factor, but I do think experiencing it fresh is extra resonant. So, that's your warning. And then if you know for sure you're never planning to play this game, then hello, welcome, thanks for hanging out. All right. So I was talking earlier about, I have a little bucket at the bottom, which is like, how would you convince somebody to play this game? And I was talking about how my elevator pitch to people is that I open with saying that it's a game about Hong Kong. It's a game about a lot of other things too, but I start there. I start by saying it's a game about Hong Kong. Reason being that although I think all of the other topics are equally important to the telling of the story of this game and also the themes and messages of this game, in a game that's very much built on ambiguity and perspective and insinuation, that Hong Kong was their most clear, like other than motherhood, Hong Kong was the most clear, direct reference, like historical reference, in the events of the game and the visual imagery and the text. Like throughout all axes of this game, Hong Kong was the only thing that was pretty unambiguous, and I think that has meaning to it, which is why I open there. If you are unfamiliar with Hong Kong's protest movements, and in particular especially the umbrella movement because it's so explicitly referenced in this game, I would recommend looking into it a little bit. The TLDR of it is I really only know the basics. Long story short, like Hong Kong was effectively like a British colony, question mark, British territory for a while. The UK forced China to hand over Hong Kong for a while. Eventually, they had to give it back. It was like a 100-year deal or something. They had to give it back in 1997. And as part of this deal, the agreement was that for 50 years, Hong Kong would be allowed to continue its like the capitalism and the democracy. So essentially, like leave Hong Kong untouched as is for 50 years was like the agreement. What that means is that 1997 plus 50 years is 2047. And the explicit connect with the game is that that's the year the occupants show up. So I just wanted to be really clear about that. Oh, Comatose, don't worry. I see the link. Sorry about the censorship from Nightbot. Haha. If any of you played Outer Wilds, it's like that. Yeah, Outer Wilds is very high on my list to see next. Oh my god, this is really funny. Wait, this is really funny. It's like, yes, but also there's something goofy about the way it's presented. Brechtian thoughts. Had I been alive, I would have liked this. Okay, I like this. Let's make a link section. Here, let's make it further reading. Further reading as a section, I think is fair. That's amazing. I'm so glad they have this. A wet sphere is a dry sphere. Even a cube can roll. When one cube is eaten, another congeals. The All-Mother won't kiss a lazy cube. Your cube is your own to clean. Never leave the big cube. Be a sphere, not a cube. No use crying if your sphere is a cube. No use crying if your cube is a sphere. No use crying. Cry to water the plants. Oh my god, this is amazing. Yes, it was called One China, Two Systems. Exactly. Exactly. That is verbatim what the policy was called. I forgot that was opium war related. Good reminder. Yes. So anyways, that's the TLDR of it. Oh, sorry. I was going to get to the umbrella movement. So anyways, after the handover, for a few years, things are basically more or less untouched. And then in 2014, I think that's right. And then like late in 2014, the CCP stepped in and tried to, I shouldn't say tried to, they did. The CCP stepped in and changed the way the electoral system was going to work. And it's pretty complex, so I'm not going to get too specific here. But long story short, it would have been like less transparent and less democratic based on our, like, I guess, currently common definitions of what democratic elections look like. There was like a what is it called? A committee, like a panel, where like I think you would need like half of the panel had to agree to nominate like a candidate, basically. And then people were like, literally, what the fuck is this? Anyway, convoluted ass system, and so they were like, we don't like that, we're going to protest. What resulted was a largely student-led protest movement called the Umbrella Movement. And so if you are one of those people who played 1000xRESIST and was wondering what was going on with all these fucking umbrellas, it was a very, very, very explicit tie to the Umbrella Movement. And I don't think it's an accident that this is a story about students also. So that's why I start with, this is a game about Hong Kong. It's a game about a lot of other things also, but I start at Hong Kong. I think the other things that were really explicit to me were, like I mentioned earlier, the be water statement, which was a protest tactic that came from, was it fucking Bruce Lee? I think it was a Bruce Lee quote, be water. It's just like, it's a martial arts, like a Chinese martial arts philosophy. Is that too strong of a word? That's about, instead of meeting force with force, to meet force with flexibility. And so be water is a strategy that works for a protest movement that doesn't have a leader. There's no single point of like the command. And so every individual protester, or maybe small units of protesters, would monitor the situation based on various sources of information and then make their own decisions that responded to blockages, for example, by flowing to a different location. And so that's what be water was. Yeah. I was crying. I had a Kanto friend who liked it, and I said, "Did you notice the umbrellas?" And he was like, "Oh, I didn't notice." Like, girl, your friend is Kanto and didn't notice the umbrellas? That's actually wild. Kind of feels like a good explanation for why Chris is holding an umbrella, being from the younger generation of sister. Not unlike students are often part of the younger generation of society. Oh, that's true. Chris is the one who was most explicitly, consistently holding the umbrella. But I felt like one of the most, and this is another topic I want to get to, which is like, what were I'm curious for your guys' most, okay, actually I'm going to put this in questions for later because I want to do questions one at a time. I'm going to try to combat my ADHD as much as possible, guys. Okay, so what were your most like memorable scenes or moments visually or like in the text, basically, like whether that's the words or the visuals, or even in the audio, I guess, but whatever left an impression on you. So we'll get to that. And I was thinking about Be Water a lot because I think Be Water is a very medium is the message thing for this game. Because like I said in the beginning, this game is about Hong Kong. It's also about a bajillion other things. And because it's about so many things, you would think that it's a really scattered and unfocused game, but actually it is extremely, extremely targeted in the story and the message it's trying to tell. And because it's so impressions and inferences based, I think part of the intention is also that everybody comes away from this game with a different takeaway and a different perception of it in a sort of fractal scattering manner, kind of like how even plucked from the same head, no two hairs are the same, right? And so similarly, this game is water. Like 1000 times Resist is a game that you can't pin down. Good luck trying to explain to somebody what this game is about. I think part of the point is that you can't. I think the reason I want to start us on this point is because I think as we come into these discussion questions, I just want to remind myself constantly that this is not an explainable game. And that's kind of the point. And I really enjoy that, actually. Like, I really like that. I think a lot of games try to do that and just don't really pull it off. It tends to come across as kind of chaotic. And instead, this one was just like, this one is chaos in a lightning in a bottle kind of way. Okay. Athena's holding the umbrella for Chris. Yeah, you're right. That is true. It's about moodles. It's just mind-blowing. It really is. The extradition laws, Asuna, was the 2019 protests. There were like several waves of major notable Hong Kong protests, but they absolutely have, I think almost like France, they have a really intriguing and riveting protest history. The Orchard having a subway. I think I would put that under, how should we put we should talk about the subway. We should. Let's do like we have themes. We also have, let me blend themes and symbols together actually, because I think those often go hand in hand enough that I would struggle to separate them. So let's add subway system, like the trains. And Asuna said, I want to make sure I capture this, where the Hong Kong Metro was a big part of mobilizing the protests, people organizing around stations and leaving open passes for each other to ride. Yeah. Organizing centers during the HK protest movements, during the various HK protest movements. Okay, what was with that horse statue? Honestly, great question. Kind of unexplainable. Yeah. You know what? Let's make a list of the unexplainables. Here we go. The unexplainables. Oh God. What am I doing? What the fuck? What the fuck was that horse statue about? Genuinely? What? Also the dirt room. What was it called? Green Heaven? Why don't Canadians like hot soup during hot times? I mean, I feel like that's kind of a white people thing to not like hot things in hot times. Like, you know how we talk about hot pot in the summer is like a really common Chinese thing that we reach for? Or like, I think it's normal to like spicy food in the summer, but then I'll talk to white people and they're like, oh no, you gotta have what's that, like What's that tomato-based cold soup that white people like? I really like it too. But I learned about it through white people. What is it? It's like sometimes there's like garbanzo beans in it or something. Or is it chickpeas? I forget. Maybe it was a metaphor? You're the horse? I don't know. Girl in the icy sky says, I saw the horse statue as like a symbol of nowhere's lost sense of wonder. I don't come here much anymore. As for why they chose a horse though, sure. Yeah, well, I think they explicitly even point to this thing and they're like, this is inexplicable. But they didn't know what a horse was, right? Because they've never seen a horse. But it still felt a little like, why is there a horse statue here? Like, despite having like, Nowhere literally has that entire conversation with Watcher about this horse. And we're still sitting here like, but what was the point of that horse statue? Gazpacho? Gazpacho. Yeah, that's what white people like in the summer, right? Well, to be fair, Koreans also have cold, Chinese people also. Everybody has a version of a cold noodle something, cold noodle soup type thing. I don't know, I just think like hot things and cold things are good in the summer. It really depends on what vibe you're going for. They just know it's a horse. They have no info on it. Yeah, it's like representative of the disconnect somehow. But to represent it as like a statue in the middle of a lobby is very funny to me. Wait. It's a statue in the middle of a lobby as you pass by it and then through it as you descend into the subway like tracks. Like when you get to the platform, later on they rearrange the room so that you run through an empty horse lobby. So is it like a transitory, like a transitional symbol? I might be overthinking it. Like sometimes a horse is just a horse. Maybe somebody in the dev team just really liked horses. 9, happy 56 months. I can't believe I'm missing this. I'm so invested, but I'm at Miku. What? You're at Miku? Wait, the Miku Expo? Oh my god, have fun, 9. Have fun, 9. I don't know if 9 can hear us. Have fun, 9. It's giving liminal. Yeah, like a space of liminality. Do horses ever represent liminality? Is that like a thing? Is that a known horse thing? I mean, I can see that. They're a transit-oriented organism. Which is, I guess, a really funny way to say that horses move places. They move things and people to places. They're transport. I would believe if a dev were to show up and be like, this horse symbolizes liminality and transition, I would be like, yeah, sure. Horses carry stuff forward like carriages do. Exactly, Kaleidochrome. I've been biting into this awesome story. Thank you for deeply biting into it with us. My main question mark is the communion scene of Iris returning home despite saying she didn't actually at the end. Yes, one of my biggest things. Okay, so that's the next thing I want to do is try to reconstruct the somewhat, like an attempt at a linear timeline, right? Which I'm gonna new line, but I agree. I think there's a lot of, because the first communion that we did, like clearly actually and importantly not the first scene of the game, but the first communion that we do is with Principal. And I realized much later on, as every gamer did, I'm sure, that so much of what she was showing us was not true. And so I struggled a lot to understand like which parts of it weren't and which parts were. Like, for example, the people were talking in the comments about how the scene with the other sisters siding with youngest was like fabricated from Principal's memory. I don't know, it made me wonder what else wasn't real. And then I also realized I couldn't pick out how people could tell that was fake. Like, what was the giveaway? I must have missed it because people seemed really like decisive about that particular point. Chapter 3 is obviously the most distorted. Oh, the school stuff is mostly authentic. The tampering amps up near the end of chapter 1. Near the end of chapter 1. With the people in the gym or the alleyway scenes? Huh. Actually, on that note, let me go to my own channel. The Infinity. And get a look at it. Okay, so... shit. I'm a victim of my own lack of organization here. Where did... I know I pinned it. Haha! Okay. Because... it took me a long time to get through. I didn't timestamp this one either because it was so long. Towards the end... The horse statue and school's fox statue probably have some thematic connection. We just only get the context of the fox statue. Trinix, did we get the context for the fox statue though? I don't know if I got that. Welcome to chat also. Wikipedia says, according to feng shui, horses symbolize speed, success, and forward motion. So we are kind of maybe on the nose about that, Kaleidocrow? About the forward motion thing? Like horses being a symbol of progress, essentially? Here, let's okay, feng shui says horses symbolize speed, success, forward motion. Maybe it's connected with the fox statue. Well, there's also the mirror statue, but I feel like the mirror is a more obvious symbol. I don't know why I struggled so hard to find that word. I saw Moodle on screen and I want spicy cold. I know, me too. I got skimmin for lunch though. Although that's not cold. That was very hot. Norse mythology may be less thematic. Horses like how do you pronounce that? Signify journeys between the worlds of the living and the dead. Well, this is, given that this is a game about diaspora, I think so much of it is about like theologies of other cultures. Absolutely would be relevant, I feel like. I didn't know that there were like horses for between the realms is cool. I like that. The liminality context. Does it symbolize liminality? Transition? Progress? Foreshadowing that things are about to accelerate? Foreshadowing acceleration? You know, the more we think about this, the more I'm like, maybe it's not so unexplainable. It's not as weird. The more we get into it, the more I'm like, actually, it's not that weird. Yeah, they can be quite spiritual animals. That's a good point. Horses are very spiritual. In like across many human cultures, horses are a very spiritually relevant animal. To be fair, the 50 would have picked the statue, and they do have multiple areas like Old Town for other cultures. That's a good point. That's a good point. The statue would have been chosen by the 50. Maybe it was a foreshadowing of the burning of the library in a sense, a disappearance of the original context. A representation of the disappearance of original context, e.g. burning of the library. I like that. Okay. Recontextualize into the present. Like forcibly. Like this is what we have now. Interesting. I'm starting to think we need to move it out of the unexplainables. No, I think it's interesting that it was unexplainable and then we thought about it really hard and suddenly it is explainable. I feel like I'm back in AP literature class. Well, yeah, sorry. Were we talking about the fox statue and then did I miss where they explained the fox statue? Oh no, I don't think anybody said anything about it yet. Okay, cool. I have a really long list, guys, so I just want to, before we dive too deep into anything, I want to go through, I'll put it into questions to tackle later. So before we get to these questions, I want to try to reconstruct like a high-level summary of the timeline. So let me list the questions first just so we can keep it in mind while we think about the timeline. So one thing is like linear storytelling. Here, let me do this. Non-linear storytelling, but also it's actually kind of linear. And this might be the first thing we tackle because we're going to try to linearize it next. That's my next task for us. But before that, okay. And then I wanted to I wanted to ask everybody's favorite characters. Who is everyone's favorite character? Which like often is kind of an, honestly, like a surface level question. In this game, it is not. In this game, I think it's like a Rorschach test. Your favorite 1000, like what does your favorite 1000xRESIST character say about you? 1000 times resist. Okay, and then like words, here, recurring words with many meanings. Revolution, remains, falling. And then let me actually move this under, where did we put it? It might need its own thing, like, okay, let's make perspective and POV its own topic. Oh shit, I fucked up. Okay, perspective and POV, like facets and fractals, and under which I'm gonna put words. Okay. Named my stray cat after BBF. Wait, what? You just named the cat BBF or what? Fox already makes me think of trickery, something not being as it seems. Also, kitsune is by association ghosts and the dead, because yokai are like spirits. Did they ever really get into that in like the dialogue though? The fox statue was implied as symbolizing tradition since it was made by previous student council, but the current one was still building it without really knowing why. But that was the fox statue in the first communion. What about the fox statue in the orchard? I guess maybe they're just connected. They're together. In some parts, I felt like a fish out of water a bit with Asian diaspora stuff. Comatose is asking the good question. Isn't that in itself a diaspora experience? There was a review I read that was like, this is a game that's clearly not made for the white gaze. I was like, that's a very interesting phrasing. I think that's fair. It's like books that weren't written for Westerners. Like they're written in English, but they weren't for Westerners. I remember, like, I know Crying in H Mart gets a lot of, like, flack for a lot of, I think, good reasons. But something that I really liked about it is that they didn't always Romanize everything or translate everything. Like, sometimes there were just Korean words that were left maybe Romanized but not translated. And I really liked that, actually. Okay, and then I wanted to go into... I wanted to take a closer look at... the Hekki Allmo poem, also both before and after. I wanted to look at the occupant poem. I don't know if that's it. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone else refer to it as a poem, but I feel like it is a poem. And then okay. Positioning of the viewer influencing the telling of the story, but also the receiving. Okay, this is another theme I want to get to. I'm literally just going to paste this one in. Cycles and branching and contagion, motherhood, revolution, violence. There are a lot of biblical parallels, which I wanted to talk to you guys about because I'm not Bible kid enough. And then we were talking about, hold on, this one is the subjectivity of experience. Revisionist histories. Okay, what else do I have? Oh. Let's talk about that fucking ending. Okay, we're gonna save ending discussion for last for obvious reasons because it's about the endings, but also because I think I might accidentally start a fight. I think we're gonna descend into a full-on bar brawl. Because that ending made me kind of mad. I have opinions. Why does Watcher exist as a role? And diaspora politics. Okay, I think that's all included already. Okay, cool. I have the questions written down. I'm sure more will arise and we'll slot them into the parking lot. I think Purple Shell does call it the All Mothers poem. The Hekki Allmo one. I think this is explicitly the All Mothers poem, but in my head it's the Hekki Allmo poem because it like starts there. There's the 1000-year nine-tailed kitsune, that's the wisdom one, which could represent knowledge of past generations, and if it was that library that was burnt, it could symbolize breaking away from those. Okay, let me put that under generational themes. It's like the fox statue and shrine in the garden. Foxes, I guess the like nine-tailed kitsune represents wisdom, perhaps knowledge of past generations. Okay. As much as I want to say yes, I grew up in a city where the entire city was Latinos. Kami, I think what Comatose is trying to say is that your fish out of water experience in playing this game is itself a diaspora experience. I don't think it's about like whether you were raised within a diaspora experience as like a Latino in a city of Latinos, which I will say is a diaspora experience, I think, because I am an East Asian who grew up in a city of East Asians. So yeah, the whole thing is a metaphor for being diaspora. Exactly. I think if anything, the fact that this game essentially strong-armed what might be a bunch of white people into having a diaspora experience is pretty cool. Being alienated from a culture you don't know, and yet somewhat belong to, right? Not being able to understand the Asian references in the game. Exactly, 3, exactly. Oh, Unite, hello! Healer. JM Cross wants to say healer. Okay, when we talk about everyone's favorite character, I know there's gonna be a lot of... We should do a poll. We should do a poll for everybody's, not favorite character, but favorite function. Well, I shouldn't say function. Favorite sister? I don't even know what the term would be. Like named function sister? Something like that. Okay, let me start with... Okay, first let's try to reconstruct the linear narrative. So there was somebody, was I talking to them about this in, I can't remember if we had this discussion in the comments or on Twitter or something, but we were talking about how I was trying to say 1000 times resist is a really good example of like non-linear storytelling. And then somebody came into my replies and was like, actually, I would argue that it is linear storytelling, you just don't know. It is linear storytelling, you just don't find out until you wake up in Blue's body and you're like, oh fuck, where am I? Who am I? So that might have been me. Was it? I think it sounds like an Asuna conversation, but I think Asuna might have brought it up in the comment, because Asuna's comments were this big. I really enjoyed them, by the way. Thank you for writing them out. Where's the quadratic storytelling? Yeah. I think multiple people have brought up this point, but I like explicitly had a back and forth about nonlinear storytelling. Anyways, it was at that point that I realized that I had missed some details, I think, in the storytelling. So let me attempt to reconstruct this, and we'll see if we can tidy up the thoughts a little bit. So starting from the beginning, this was my first stream, I think. So the opening scenes are... Hold on, I'm just gonna quickly skim through it. They open with the stabbing scene. I actually wanted to revisit what option I chose. Did I go red to blue? Here, let me turn on desktop audio so you guys can hear. Okay.
Hair to hair.
Oh, I did hair to hair. God, I think later on I chose red to blue. She stabs Iris. We have literally no idea what's going on in the very beginning. And then I think it goes into the water scene. Yes! Okay. The choices scene with the remains beacons. And we don't know who any of these characters are. Well, this is actually pretty crazy. Like seeing it again now. That's fucking BBF. After she stabs Iris, she briefly sees Blue watching her. Oh shit, wait, really? Hold on, let's go back to that. After she stabs Iris. Oh, right there. Okay, I'm glad I saved this to see together. The womb water corridor, Kaleidochrome. There's people who believe water holds memories. Yes, water was, oh my god, we should definitely put that in the symbols list. Literally just straight up water. BBF comments at length about the rain, right? The lampshades aren't quite the same as we find them at the end. Yeah, I don't remember this. This is pretty wild. Okay, cool, that makes sense. And then we spawn in, I think we walk up to these two. Okay. Wait, we are a watcher walking up to watcher? Hold on, I want to see this one more time. I actually very concertedly decided not to rewatch this until we were on stream together. Okay.
It's you. How are we here? Is this punishment? For what you did, for what I did. There is a now, and you are in it.
Isn't that an occupant's quote?
There's a fissure.
Is this all the same voice actor? There's a now and we are in it. There's a fissure and we articulate it. No, I think it echoes the occupant's lines, but doesn't explicitly. There is a fissure and we articulate it. I feel like the poetry of this game is so
You're wasting your time on me. If you want me gone, just do it already.
We choose I don't know that I understand this scene coming back to it now. Wait, but this is explicitly blinded watcher on the right. So then is it meant to be blue on the left? Blue in watcher's memories on the left? Oh, this is one sentence broken into 3. Was discussing what games to play this year with your girlfriend. She classified 1000xRESIST as a girl with sword game, since the first thing in the trailer is allmo getting back. That is so funny to classify 1000xRESIST as a girl with sword game when it is anything but. That's hilarious. Watcher skin blue. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the only way to interpret this, actually. I interpreted it as watcher beginning to become aware of blue watching her memories. J.M. Croft says it's kind of interesting that blue doesn't know blue during this whole communion. Watcher seems to always know she's watcher when she's communing. That's very true. And I think the implication is like, because secretary shows up, right, and goes like, oh no, you've been in this for too long. So maybe it's that like if you commune for too long that you lose a sense of identity in the process. Yeah, blue is like doesn't have a self-awareness versus like at least the watcher that well, there's the layer here also is that we're like it's a communion within a communion. So the communion within the communion, we're aware that blue is watcher is aware that she's watcher. Excuse me. But blue is not aware. Excuse me. Oh my god. Blue is not aware that she is blue as watcher communing with watcher. Wait, hold on. I don't think that came out right. Play within a play, anyone? Hey, yo, Shakespeare mentioned. Bless you, thank you. Okay, Blue also mentions at the start of chapter 6 she's been having weird dreams for weeks. Yes, yeah, precisely. I think the implication also was that like I think an important thing to disentangle that I'm not sure everybody in my comments always understood the point I was trying to make is that you, the player, and Blue, the character, are still separate entities. Like the devs are still treating us as separate beings. It's not like everything we see is like the full and entire experience of Blue, right? Obviously, I think they hammer that home really clearly because we wake up and Blue has an entire life and set of memories and like experiences and friends that like we know nothing about. But we're piloting her body because it's a game. And so I guess the implication is that the gaps are like the communions, the weird dreams that she's been going through. This is a detail I missed, and so I was talking to a friend about it, that the Blue communion drink was like bartender microdosing Blue with watcher memories. I did not pick up on that, like at all. But bartender being the literal bridge for those communions. I feel like if that is I think it is a possible conclusion to draw. I don't know that it's like necessarily truth, but it's like a reasonable conclusion to draw. If it is the conclusion you draw, then I think the next logical step is also, J.M. Cross has never heard this. Yeah, so I was like talking to a friend who's like, there's a popular fan theory that, or not even fan, they were talking about it like it was canon. They were like, don't you love how the Blue communion was like bartender's way of getting Blue the communions, the weird dreams, right? Could just be that Blue is new to communions in general, is like not good at discerning herself or something. That's possible. Yeah, and maybe like if you're blindsided into the communions and not opting into them, that you the cost of it is that you're like unaware of your own identity in the middle of the communion. Like when you're in a dream, you're also not always aware of who you are, right? It's like a shattered mirror where they all have mirror images and exist at the same time but are part of the same whole mirror. I like that a lot, Kaleidocrow. I guess a mirror is, that falls under the facets and fractals theme that we had earlier, or symbol that we had earlier. Since Watcher at the same time mentions Noah's injections are making her see things. Yes, yeah, exactly. So that's why people were bringing that up. It was like I think a lot of people treat it as canon because of Noah's injections. Like to a lot of people, the way Noah was able to inject Watcher with something that appeared to become a communion, without it being the same thing as a communion, like a communion-like experience, means that the Blue communion drink was bartender bridging Noah into Blue. Which adds so much dimension to specifically Noah's character. Like I think bartender, it's not surprising that this would be a function that she performed. Haha, as a miscellaneous shell. But I think as a knower liker, as a knower was gonna say defender. I'm a nowhere apologist. As a nowhere apologist, I think defenders and apologists are two different things. As a nowhere apologist, I really like the idea that the blue communion was like, was nowhere reaching through bartender to blue. I think that's a really cool process, because it also means that maybe one of the questions I had was like, how was blue chosen? And when did the communion start? Because I didn't think it was clear. Because some people talk as if the linear storyline of this game is actually really clear. And I'm like, I disagree. Nowhere enthusiast. Yeah. There's some little references to Watcher's memories inside of Blue's life in the communion, like the cake shell quoting fixer. Watcher's memories inside of Blue's life, like the cake shell quoting fixer. You're right. I mean, it is meant to, like, we are meant to question what is reality and what is dream and what is communion. I think it's not meant to be clear, but I think it's cool that these conclusions are drawable. These are like conceivable inferences. Are they canon? I don't know. It's up to you. I like that it's open to interpretation, but it's something I think about. Okay, so let me continue. Actually, I just want to see the scene. Same voice actor for these two. Okay. What the fuck is you also?
We both know.
Oh, another gift member from Karma. I appreciate it. Thanks.
See from the beginning. There is a then, and you'll receive it.
Hive mind alien struggling with individuality. There is a then, and you'll receive it. I'm not sure if I'm getting the individual aspect necessarily. Okay, I guess we'll find out. Oh, and then there's two of them for a hot minute. Wait, there was two of them for a hot minute. I agree, hive mind. Okay. Oh, to be a cool guy. Watcher. This is our first Watcher instance. Okay, and then we go down to the platform and we say goodbye to Fixer. Okay. Okay. The communion between Blue and Watcher is from the start of the game, since Blue's portion is obviously still in communion and not a flashback. Is it obviously in a communion and not a flashback? What are the tells? Because for me, the communion tells was always the zip scenes. Like, if you're in a scene and then suddenly they're like, here are the zippity teleportation waypoint things, then you're in a communion. The game originally released without a map. Oh, I did struggle a little in the beginning, even with a map. Yeah. The telesecretary showing up and saying, I'm rebooting the communion. I'm like trying to figure out if there was enough continuity between the waking up scene and the... No, I think you're right. I agree. I would draw the same conclusion. I shouldn't say I think you're right. I think I agree. There is enough continuity in the scene from Blue's waking up from the dreams. God, there's so many layers here. I don't know. That's the point. That's literally the point. Because we wake up, okay, prior to waking up as Blue, also you zip in from the burnings, from the try to find a way out after stabbing Iris. Like, it's the procedure of that sequence was Watcher stabs Iris, Principal shows up and does the shit. Like, I don't think it's ever explained who all the sisters she summons are. Like, who the fuck are these people? Whatever. You have to zippity zap your way out. Probably some amount of these are constructed because it's all within a communion within a communion. I think that's right. I think it's a communion within a communion. No, it's just a communion. It's just a really long string of communions. Something like that. Sometimes it's a communion within a communion. But that sequence maybe not. And then you wake up as Blue and you're like, I feel bad. And then a bunch of shit happens and you get your biometrics updated after Bartender gets shot. There actually may not be enough continuity. There may not be enough continuity, at least for the first half of that memory of Blue's, because you go to sleep in between. You go to bed. You go home. You go to sleep. You wake up. I'm not making this up. You go home and you go to bed. And then bartender gets shot. I'm pretty sure there was a go to bed in between that. I'm upset that bartender being shot might have been part of the plan. My take on Nowhere and her plans are that there are always many plans. It's very like, do you know what a strategy map is? It's like if there's like a decision tree, a strategy tree. And it's like, if this happens, do this. Like if A happens, do B. I think that's what Nowhere's brain looks like. I think she accounted for the fact that bartender may get shot. I don't even know that they're necessary contingencies in Nowhere's head. I think in Nowhere's head, they're all equally valid strategies that will guide her to the result she's aiming for. I think they're all fully intentional. And she like might like one plan over another, and we'll never know which ones those are. But the fact that she like seems ready for any scenario is what makes her so sus. And I think the reason she looks so sus and is ready for every scenario is because she has pre-planned for all of them. After she shot herself in the back with a shotgun. Yeah. I think Nowhere had a contingency plan / a strategy in mind already for bartender maybe getting shot one day. And I think the contingency plan was blue. I think that's what a blue communion was. She has plans for all of the alphabet. Yeah, forget plan B, right? We're talking plan fucking Y. I do think she really didn't like cutting out Watcher's eyes. Yeah, I for one believe it when Nowhere said, oh, it's so hard. Her voice actor does such a good job. I for one believe it when Nowhere was like, this is how we save your head. We lose your eyes, but we save your head. She phrased it differently. That was my rephrasing of it. But I was like, I believe that. 100% I believe that. Principal's fucking out for blood, you know? I Nowhere always knows. Okay, great. We have the Fixer goodbye scene, which we see play out many times in many characters. I think Iris and Principal both get versions of the platform scene. Watcher goes through it one more time before she goes to stab Iris. And then we go from this straight into the first communion.
Don't forget to clean up that shit under your bed.
What shit under my bed?
I won't.
Theater kids need to make more games.
Soundtrack. Yes. It does actually read like a stage play. Yeah. That's a good point. I guess it is very theater.
Yeah, the vibrator. Exactly. Victus. I want you to see from the beginning. Complete chapter. Nowhere. I know.
Yeah, it's like, is it literal shit? Or?
I'm pinning it. That's so funny.
Jetta Lemon says the attendance must be theater.
Yeah, Cayenne. Yeah, she really tried.
Oh,
she really tried. Oh, this is how the first communion begins. I like kept forgetting that Principal had that like the red secretary, and then like people in the comments had to keep reminding me. They were like, "You literally pointed it out. You were like, oh, there's a red secretary," and I'm sitting there like, I noticed the red secretary. Sometimes I wish my memory worked. Okay, so they jump straight into first communion. We traverse the halls and we light candles for Jiao. Oh, you know what? I straight up forgot about the cult on the roof. I forgot about this guy. Yeah, it's actually pretty crazy that when I was sitting there taking notes to prepare for today's stream, and I was like, okay, let me like list out a bunch of symbols and themes that I want to talk about with you guys. I didn't think of cults. Like it didn't come up in my note taking. Thank God you guys are here. Okay. Thank you. Thanks to you guys, we have this bullet point and a lot of other bullet points, but this is the big one that I missed. I think she's just very, very good at dissociating and locking the fuck in when she has a role to play. Like I was saying, okay, let me write this one down under revolution. Okay, we're gonna actually lump revolution and Hong Kong together. Should I? No, I'm gonna subheader it. No, I'm gonna make it its own header, but close to the Hong Kong header, which is that it takes all kinds of revolutionaries. Which I will revisit when we get to why I'm mad about the ending. I think Mauve was done dirty. I think we needed a lot more Mauve time. My name isn't Mauve. Okay, cool. So we do this communion. This entire fucking long ass VOD is the communion. I do apologize for me taking triple the time on stream. I would say, how would you summarize this? The communion establishes, wait. In trying to tell this linearly, or the closest we can get to linearly, from like the communion with Watcher, Blue's communion with Watcher begins with arguably this scene. No, it doesn't, because Blue Watcher is already speaking to blinded Watcher, I guess, as if they know each other. So this can't possibly be the starting point of the communion. That was the question I was never able to answer. Is like, when do the communions begin? Mauve felt like a simple plot device more than another clone. Yeah, I felt like Mauve deserved more. That's actually not true. Mauve doesn't deserve more. But we deserve to see more of Mauve. Like, Mauve as a character had a lot of depth that was written into her character and then was not honored in the ending. But I'm going to hold my ending comments. We'll get to it. Okay. Let me actually explicitly write this down. Like, where does Blue's communion with Watcher begin? Like, what is the starting point? The saint-like lens that Iris is presented in throughout the communion with the halo looking like Christian. Yeah, exactly. The biblical parallels. Here, actually, this, rather than a question to tackle later, is more like a running theme. Iris portrayed as a saint. Like, visually portrayed as a saint. Mauve went from number one nowhere sim to being ready to kill her super fast. To be fair, right? That transition happens off screen over the process of years. But I guess the problem with being a slow decision maker may be that you spend a lot of time gathering information before you make that kind of a decision. So I think that was probably what Mauve went through. I think it doesn't feel too sudden to me, actually. I could believe that transition. It's just that we didn't get to see the transition. I felt like Mauve was a really interesting textured character right up through that ending, the wild thread ending. I was like, that was the first time in the entire time I spent playing this game where I was like, actually, fuck you, Sunset Visitor. Like, I understand, but I wish it didn't play out like that. And okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to hold my comments. I'm holding my comments. I think Blue, prior to her communion, had been having visions of Watcher and the other older sister. The reason I think so is because Principal, in her monologue before they explode the inside sky, talks about having similar experience, seeing things she's never seen. Yeah, Principal's not the only one. Do you guys remember after Blue's biometrics get updated and she goes upstairs, there is a shell next to Healer's area. And the shell is like, they're killing us off. They're killing us off. They're killing off the older sisters. And then like Doreen or somebody, I don't know, somebody over there is like, calm down. You are one of the newer sisters. Like, what do you mean the newer sisters are trying to kill off the older sisters? And then this shell that is just like, they're calling her insane because she's like reliving the memories of an identity that she supposedly isn't, right? So clearly this is like a recurring thing. And then Blue also explicitly says, is like asking everybody she can, like, hey, do you ever have visions of a life that wasn't your own? Like memories that aren't yours? So the memories are slowly leaking into everyone. Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I was like wondering how much of that is like the clone gimmick, right? And how much of it is the theory that Bartender was using Blue communion to, or maybe some other drink, but like some way basically of into Blue's veins, injecting these memories, maybe they're communions, maybe they're just memories, into Blue, from Watcher to Blue. What if Blue isn't a character but rather a representation of the kind of person who would push against the current? Repeating Watcher memories would be like coaching the ideal Blue represents, and since Blue is a lens, it refracts into multiple paths and versions of the revolutionist. So I really like this interpretation, Crow. And this is mostly the angle that I was approaching it at, except for the fact that there are cases where in the story, I feel like the devs explicitly portray Blue as like a concrete, almost like historical figure, because they keep referring to her as the terrorist, which means that the bomb plot was like, at least as far as Blue, the character is concerned, is explicitly in that train scene after, where Blue's just going back and forth and back and forth, and like Watcher's on one end and Fixer's on the other end, right? They keep referring, like, it was that scene that convinced me that Blue wasn't just this like amalgamation of concepts or a like refraction of ideology, but that she is also a character. Like, it's both. But you also put that really eloquently. Hold on, I'm actually gonna start, we're gonna do, oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, quotes from chat, where I just copy paste things you guys said that I think is really cool. I should have done this earlier. You guys had a lot of cool earlier quotes too. Okay, nice. Saturn says, I mean, she has no tolerance for any remnants of the old world. She sees the infighting and philosophical debates of the older sisters as a barrier to moving forward with anything. She's kind of a caricature. About Mauve, you mean? There are revolutionaries like her in every movement. I just wish we got more of her journey to that beyond her being so antisocial. I don't mind not seeing her journey. What I mind is the ending, specifically the ending, honestly. That's a personal opinion. I agree with your take also. Yeah. Historical characters who revolutionize, inspire future generations. We do idealize figures who brought about positive change. Yeah, 100%. And it's like, the bringing about positive change part is also very subjective, right? Like, who is the victor who lived to tell the story? What version of history did we learn? What lens are we perceiving this history through? I am really glad that before playing this game, recent books that I have been reading include Nelson Mandela's autobiography, and also like a bunch of stuff about like Palestinian history and like Zionism. And also we're reading currently, my book club is reading about what our current book is, the civil rights movement, and like Jim Crow, right? So a lot of my takeaways in all three of those books was like who lives, who dies, who tells your story, right? I can't help but make Hamilton references every other sentence. But I agree. I think blue is a really strong symbol of that particular ideology of ideology. Is that like a weird way to put it? I don't know. Not that deep, but it just bears mentioning that the occupants can also be read as a China allegory while appearing as a literal unstoppable red giant. Oh no, yeah. There's some of the. It's interesting because like for the most part, you actually like, yes, there's like Taiwan imagery, but the like other than the fact that you can easily read occupants as being like, that's the CCP, it's like not actually that clear. Like there are scenes where it's like, oh, that's like an obvious parallel, and then there are other scenes where like the occupants are portrayed in actually a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a positive light, but an empathetic? No, that's not the word either. But there are scenes where you can see things their way. And I feel like it drifts from the otherwise really tight parallel of them representing the CCP. It becomes a little more nuanced because of like the more you learn about the occupants, the more you're like, oh, maybe this isn't like just China. Like I think in some scenes it's really obvious, and then in some scenes it breaks down, and I like that. Yeah. A lot of generals going, actually I was a flawless Giga Chad and Hitler was holding me back. Oh no. Yikes. Okay. Great. So we still haven't been able to answer the question, and I kind of like that. Okay, so I guess there's a few. Actually, we have answered this question in a few different ways. This feels like Signalis all over again. I really like it. There is the possibility that Blue's communion with Watcher begins through injections from Bartender. One possibility. There is the possibility that Blue's communion doesn't start until, this was my original interpretation, was that we wake up as blue, but it's a blue memory, right? Like it's a memory of blue within the communion that Secretary then ends. Like, I guess that's a whole separate conversation of like, does that memory exist in the communion, or is it like spliced into a later communion, or is it spliced together with a later communion? Despite that, at some point there is a blue memory in the sequence of communions that involves the bomb plot. And it's possible that the communion with the communion with Watcher doesn't happen until after the bomb plot clears. And all of the visions Blue has, at least in the context of that memory, and again, it's a little shuffled, but in the context of that memory, the visions that Blue has been having are like a side effect of her clone self. Because we've seen that happen with various other clones. And the way it gets conflated with communions is because of her communion after the bomb plot. That the memories essentially get jumbled together. Like there's a shuffling happening. Is one possible. That's the second possible explanation. After which you wake up with Healer next to you in the subway train. And like all of those communions were in that sequence. Except, okay, wait, and then this is where like I get confused again. Let me go to, where's my fucking playlist? I thought the first communion was the principal's communion, which is why it was altered the way it was. Well, but that was a Watcher communion. Was that a Blue communion? And when did Blue get that communion? Okay, wait. This thumbnail, right? Where you run into Watcher in the darkness. Hold on, let me actually just find it. It's at the end of like, oh, this was beautiful. This whole thing was so beautiful. Wait, I want to ask everyone's opinions on this. Let me put that in here. Opinions on the footage portion. Mass communion. It was Iris's mass communion. With the more nuanced portrayal of the occupants, I wonder if it's meant to be a pondering of whether the utilitarian material lens of memory and culture that's associated with pure communism, not necessarily as it exists in modern China, might not be something compatible with us yet. The argument that like, if human nature were to change, communism might work. Like collectivism, true collectivism could work, but it would require like human individualism to kind of take a backseat. I actually really love that interpretation, Saturn. Hold on. We're putting this in the quotes from chat segment. I want to think about that. I should bold your guys' username so I don't lose you. Damn it. There were so many earlier quotes from you guys that maybe I'll just scroll back and copy some of them in. Okay. This is like unraveling a tangled ball of yarn where there's a meta-symbolism and a smaller in-universe symbolism that speaks to the larger meta-symbolism at the same time. It's a context Ouroboros. It's Jeremy Bearimy. It's Jeremy Bearimy, but like with meaning instead of time, but also with time. The main issue with discussion about communism is nobody wants to discuss scale. I remember really early on when I was still a filthy liberal, before I became a red-blooded leftist. I'm not a real leftist, guys. To this day, the way I frame it is usually, for those of you who don't know, I am politically active in local politics specifically. I believe in hyper-local activism and organizing, so I keep my activities very local. In the context of the people I try to organize and mobilize with, the leftists consider me a filthy moderate, and the liberals consider me a terrifying communist. That's where my politics sit. So, before that, I used to be a filthy liberal, and I was the kind of person who was like, yeah, but I don't think communism would work unless like human nature, like what I basically just said, where I was like, unless our individualism took a major backseat. And I was like talking to this with somebody, we were literally, oh, holy shit. We were literally in line to do public comment at the local school board. That's how we met. Anyway, full-on communist person standing next to me, and we're just like, this is not relevant to what we're at school board to talk about. We're just making conversation because you're stuck there for like hours and hours and hours waiting to get called. So we're discussing communism, as you do in line at the school board, and they were like, I have heard your point of view many times, to which I raise, what if scarcity wasn't a concern? Like, imagine a world, just hypothetically, where scarcity didn't exist. And I was like, huh. I just had a moment where I was like, actually, like, what if we were raised in a society without scarcity? Like, how much would that have affected our psychologies? Would the human so-called baked in urge of individualism and need for like, I don't know, superiority that some people feel, and like self-comparison and like ladder climbing type behavior, would that actually go away? Like, it was a really interesting thought experiment. Would it? I just kind kind of went quiet for a while, like thinking about that. And genuinely, I think about that conversation a lot because I feel like to me it was a pivot point. That was my pivot out of filthy liberalism. I don't know if I'm a full-throated Marxist, but it certainly made me ponder that angle a lot more. Wouldn't that in and of itself be utopian? A post-scarcity society? Well, yes, by the definition of the word utopia. But I also think utopia has, you know, a lot of other things wrapped up in it. I think the argument that a lot of capitalists want to make, right, is that even in a post-scarcity society, that scarcity is the human condition. And you can reach a post-scarcity society where maybe you are not in need of like sustenance and shelter. But the upper parts of Maslow's hierarchy exist, and scarcity will always exist. Even if it's not for the material goods that we associate with scarcity now, that there will be scarcities of other things. I think is the capitalist argument. And again, I don't know where I land necessarily. I like thinking about these things. I don't think there's a clear answer, but it's fun. Harry Khan, Prologer, Indioker. Am I saying your guys' usernames right? Welcome. Thank you for the follow. I think part of it would, but I like to think that the human capacity for cruelty, greed, desire, etc. to be something is only the product of scarcity and the... Yeah, this is 3. That's a very what's that guy, that economist who was like, we're all gonna die out. We're gonna starve to death. We're gonna run out of arable land and starve to death. Human population is exploding too fast. Who was that guy? I forgot. He was like, when you learn about him in history class in high school, it's always like opposed to, like, it's him versus the guy who was like, humans are born a blank slate. I don't remember either of their names. But those people. I think a lot of my issues with some online leftists is they act as though the ability for humans to be cruel, bad, evil, etc. is purely a product of economic conditions. Yeah. Malthus. Yeah, I think that guy is dumb. But you made a very Malthusian argument there, 3. I agree, but it was a very Malthusian argument. Let me catch up with what Asuna was saying over here. The main issue with discussion about communism is that nobody wants to discuss scale. We have many successful ones at a village scope. Beyond that, it becomes much less. Yeah, right. Like collective governance, collective self-governance, as a, like, I guess a federated, localized structure within a certain scale, and nobody knows where this breakpoint is, but within a certain scale, maybe. That's kind of like where I'm philosophically at. On it, like, realistically, it's a thought experiment. Like, are we ever gonna get close to that? I don't fucking know, but it's fun to think about. I'm glad we think about it. Scale is such a huge factor to consider. I agree, Kyan. Yeah. Okay, where the fuck were we? Oh, right. Let me actually try to write out, like, option A, blue communion as a drink being a symbol or a nod towards bartender being a go-between to infuse, or rather to inject watcher memories into blue, potentially bridging knower to blue via watcher. Option B is sort of like an interleaving, shuffling of memories, resulting in the, how do you, like, it's so hard to explain in words, the depiction of Blue's memories within the context of a longer communion with Watcher that happens after the execution of the bomb plot. The shuffling, potentially a result of the, or like conflation, the conflation of memory versus communion versus dreaming, potentially a result of the like the established pattern of clones experiencing memories not their own. I don't know if those words put together actually are legible. Like, does option B make sense? Am I making myself clear with the theory? It actually could be both also. Could be all of the above. That's possible. But all of the above would lead to actually option A would be the correct. If you go with that, if you want to put them together, option A is the dominating theory. For them to work together, option A has to be true. I missed a lot of good stuff on the drive to the theater. The intellectual discussions I'd love to have with you about diaspora, identity, politics, and history. We barely even touched on diaspora, guys. I was like, maybe 2 hours will be enough for today's stream. Now I'm like, I could go another 3 hours. Okay. Call it some sort of genetic memory that is somehow enhanced by cloning. Oh, genetic memory enhanced by cloning. Enhanced, or maybe... expressed, like, you know how gene expression is like a different thing from, I forget what the other word is that the word expression? I think it is gene expression, right? Hold on, I'm just gonna Google it. Gene expression. Scroll past the AI, guys. Okay. Information contained within is used for the function of your product. Almost steps into transcription. Wait, hold on. I'm actually going to read this in detail because suddenly it feels really relevant for the cloning stuff. The process by which the information contained within a gene is used to produce a functional gene product, such as a protein or a functional RNA molecule. This process involves multiple steps, including the transcription of the gene sequence to RNA. For protein coding genes, the RNA is further translated. Transcription and translation? Does that not feel like closely relevant? So RNA is further translated into a chain of amino acids that folds into a protein. While for non-coding genes, the resulting RNA itself serves as a functional role in the cell. Gene expression enables cells to utilize the genetic information in genes to carry out a wide range of biological functions, while expression levels can be regulated in response to cellular needs and environmental changes. While expression levels can be regulated in response to cellular needs and environmental changes, some genes are expressed continuously with little variation. Yeah, I'm thinking gene expression versus genotype definitely was what brought me to this page, but now I'm reading this and I'm like, the process of gene expression is relevant in the cloning discussion. Like, my question earlier about something I wanted to ask you guys about was like your most memorable scenes and moments in the text. One of them for me was the spinning cubes in the cloning machines. Like literally looking like rolling dice, right? And then that paired with the pink type shell who was like, I have a secret, I'm colorblind. Like all of that together makes for a really fun gene expression discussion. The iris gotcha, exactly, Asuna. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the shell. I'm just gonna take turns pinning your guys' goofy ass comments while I copy your fancy ones. It's the changing of the DNA to RNA which creates proteins and amino acids for genotypes. The translation step, right? Wait, no. Transcription and then translation. Okay, hold on. Let me change this into a page list format first. And then once I hit some of these questions, I'm going to just start inviting you guys into the document. I think there are few enough of us here that it shouldn't overload it. I think it'll be okay. Streamer who prefers it when the CCV is lower. It's just comfier here, guys. I feel a little safer when there's only like 30 of you here. Okay. Oh shit! Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the shell. I also want to point out, right, that we know, right? Is it common knowledge that mitochondrial DNA comes from specifically your birth mother? Like, wait, how does that work in cloning? Hold on. What happens? Because, sorry, I brought this up because I was like, I just went dead silent for like a minute probably. I just zoned in. Mitochondrial DNA comes from your birth mother, right? So if you're cloned, where does your mitochondrial DNA come from? It would just be identical to your mother's. Or to Iris's mother, rather. So, does that not imply then that... Wait. Okay, that makes sense. Because Iris would carry her mom's mitochondria. Okay. It would literally just be a carbon copy. But wouldn't that require 2 cloning processes? You would have to clone the nuclear DNA and also the mitochondrial DNA? Enucleation is the removal of the nucleus from the cell. It's important for somatic cell nuclear transfer. How do they account for the mitochondrial DNA that would be left over in many mitochondria of the cell? Are they removed as well? It's in the cell already. Okay, so I guess this, if we were to explore this question in the context of 1000 times resist, you would have to first know how their cloning happens, which frankly we don't. We don't know what their cloning process is. In which case, you can assume whatever you want. In which case, I'm going to assume that they all carry exact copies of Iris's mom's DNA in the mitochondria. Mitochondrial DNA, I should say. Plato's Watcher was the nucleus that was missing from Blue's cell? How does that work, Crow? Let's dig up Mimi and ask her. You're so right, girl in the sky. Okay, sorry. We were piecing together the story and I got a little stuck on the like Blue's communion thing. I feel better having listed out these 2 options. Okay, so from here we wake up as Blue. Oh, sorry. Let me try to summarize without this question bothering me. Without this question bothering me, the summary is then there's the opening sequence, stab Iris. Blue is watching Watcher. There's the, what did we call it? The womb water? The womb water street lights, remains lights scene. We talk to blinded Watcher as Blue Watcher. We spawn in to Principal's first communion at the school. We light candles for Jiao. The dance scene happens. Go into the alleyways, chase Jiao through the alleyways, see the occupants. Communion ends. We tell Principal about Fixer. Sorry, I should say Fixer shows up in the communion. We later find out that's not real Fixer. Fixer shows up in the communion. Turns out Principal planted her there. We report Fixer. Fixer gets so-called incinerated. We later find out that doesn't actually happen. Insinuation is Fixer was already on the run, question mark. We come back to the orchard, do our rounds, talk to everybody, get this flashback with Fixer, made me really emotional. It was like the beginnings of what I was like, oh, okay, what's happening? Okay, and the second communion, BBF. We communion with BBF. It's all about like Iris at her bedroom and her, like Iris at home this time instead of at school. To be fair, even the first communion wasn't Iris at school. It was Iris coming back with the 50 at school. Mostly about her relationship with her parents and her parents' relationship with each other. BBF drops a bunch of really fire poetry. And then we come back to the orchard again. Functionally, nothing happens. We tattle on Watcher for being a little unfocused to Principal. And Principal's like, not a crime. And I'm like, Watcher's a fucking snitch. Wait, sorry. What was Crow saying? If you rid yourself of autonomy, would you also rid yourself of humanity's negative traits by proxy? Oh, I see. 3 and Crow are having a discussion about autonomy and ceding autonomy. And it's become a discussion about morality. I'm just skimming it. Like your car or dog has no concept of morality. Okay, I'm just gonna, you guys have fun over there. I'm gonna keep recapping. Fixer song is fire. I will sing it for you guys at the end. You have no choice. You have to listen to me sing. Helen's chat at gunpoint. You have to listen to me sing Fix Your Song at the end. I love it. Great. So a little, basically like, it's like, so far the pattern feels clear. It's like first communion, we tattle on Fixer, we are consumed by guilt, but we get orchard context. Second communion, we come back to the orchard, get more Fixer context. Like this is the pattern they're establishing. And then I think you get one more cycle of this, which is third communion with Healer. We and Healer learn about the reality of the ancient sister. At this point, I'm still continuing to ask, whose communion is this? Like, who set these communions up? The implication appears to be principal, but it's honestly hard to say. And then Healer crashes out. Valid crash out. We kind of tattle on her to principal, but also not really. And I'm like, thank fucking God. And then it's the birthday, but in the present day, right after the birthday scene with Zhao in the communion that I don't think Healer saw. After which there's an occupant attack. Wait, that was a question I had. Why was there an occupant attack? Because we learned during the descent scene, at least as far as like, obviously I think it's pretty obvious that the 50 had the wrong idea for what was attracting the occupants. They thought it was suffering when actually probably it's some combination of like a big spike in like emotion and memory creation, plus the occupants' penchant for like being obsessed with preserving memory, lossless data. So they didn't, in other words, didn't have to kill all those people if the goal was just to attract occupants. So why did the occupants attack for the birthday? No gun needed. An HSR parody of Fix Your Song with the Herda dolls? Ooh, that would be interesting. I never got far enough to understand the Herda dolls though, Asuna. I could see the potential there. Do you guys know why the occupants attack after the birthday scene? Like what prompts it? It was a setup by principal? A setup by principal. Principal called the occupants over? To create the conditions in which Watcher would crash out the way she wanted Watcher to? An occupant attack is just the occupant moving through the water. You're right. And because it's so big, it's just knocking people around. Right, exactly. Yeah. I guess that is a good thing to say out loud. Yes. What is an occupant attack really? Let's write it down. What is an occupant attack really? Maybe just them moving around with their big bodies through the water, knocking stuff over. The party had bad vibes. You're right, Saturn. That party did have bad vibes. Nowhere knew to go to the library and burn everything. She figured out how to trigger the alarm and not summon the occupants. So Kaya, your theory is that it wasn't actually like it was just like their ship got knocked over and it wasn't actually an occupant attack. Iris seems to have just been spending 1,000 years keeping Source busy with communions. Yeah, exactly. Iris clearly has no idea how much time has passed. Yeah, because Source and Iris are just hanging out. We never actually see an occupant. Yeah, except through a communion. Well, are we ever not in a communion? Well, I guess at the end, you're technically not. So Kayan's series is not actually an occupant attack. It is possible that the attack that happens after the birthday party that kills a bunch of shells and makes BBF crash out is not actually a real attack. That would certainly explain why BBF didn't see anything coming. And Knower and Principal might have just staged it. Knocked the ship over on purpose and set off the alarms. False flag operation! It's true, Kyan. I was very much thinking, like, is it actually an occupant attack, though? But then I'm like, but how would you knock it over? You know what? Maybe those gaps don't matter. I can easily imagine a scenario in which Principal or Knower figures out how to operate the ship that they're in to turn. Yeah, Principal could have literally just been in the cockpit going like, boop! Okay. Oh, 3, good point. Yes, you guys can definitely continue this discussion on the Nerd channel. I think it would be fun to read through after. They didn't have admin access. You're right, because Fixer needed admin access. So maybe, okay, let me put that in as an argument. Argument against this is that Fixer clearly didn't have admin privileges for piloting the ship until after Blue goes through the 50 descent sequence. So maybe it was purely an accident that an occupant just walked past the ship. Just like, oh, taking a little walk and then boop, and then everyone dies. But Principal's like, it's very, you know, I'm willing to wait for it. I was making Aaron Burr references that whole sequence for Knower. But maybe I think it does apply. It obviously applies to Principal also. They're both Aaron Burr. They were just waiting for an opportunity like this to arise. Making my way downtown. I'm actually not sure how the occupants even move. They always just show up. That's true. That's very true. We never see an occupant move, not even in any of the communions where they are present. An occupant probably didn't pass by just because Source said all the others left to find other planets. That's true. Source was the last one remaining. Yeah, like the implication being that the other occupants literally got bored, and I thought that was really funny. They literally like stared at Earth for a little while, and they were like, okay, well, I think we got most of the data. We good here? Like, they're all kind of dead anyway, so there's no new data. I guess we're gonna go now. And then Source was like, oh, you guys go. I'm gonna stay. I'm just gonna stick around. I feel like this last guy, Iris, has some interesting stuff going on. Maybe the occupant was the enemies we made along the way. The attack could have been genuine. They are the last source of sentient emotion and memory. Maybe Blue herself, because it seems like during the descent, the 50 descent sequence, like it was clear that they were afraid of even one person being, like even one person crashing out was not okay, right? Like that guy that jumped to their death, everybody was like, we're fucked. Like this one guy killed themselves and now we're fucked. So maybe it was the distress from like Healer and Watcher's communion, because that was the most recent one, and it was very jarring. That like between the two of them plus the birthday might have been enough to trigger an actual occupant attack. It's possible. If it were a genuine occupant attack attracted by memory, emotion, etc., maybe it's a result of Healer's communion with Watcher. A spike in emotion? Maybe. Okay, cool. That answers another question I had. Cool. Okay, so let's continue to the recap. We are an hour and 42 minutes in and I haven't even, I'm so sorry guys, but we tackled a lot of really good questions along the way. I think that's great. Okay, so we get this really cutesy scene with like flashback with Fixer, occupant attack, BBF crashes out, we witness everybody, and then we go talk to Knower. We have a communion with Knower's like, well, I guess like Principal told me we have to commune, and then Knower's like, sure. And so they commune. This is the weird like cave sequence with the occupant poem that I want to discuss but we're going to come back to it. I don't want to get too distracted from the recap because I think the rest of it might go pretty fast. Noah is the first to openly call us out for basically sacrilege. Because before this, it was us calling other people out for sacrilege. Noah calls us out and presents us with a choice at the end. Watcher finally actually crashes out, breaks secretary, stabs Iris, like takes Noah's train, stabs Iris with the secretary shard. At which point, big hint that this is a communion that we're in, even outside of the communion, because we zippity zap out of that and burn a bunch of sisters and zippity zap out of that and wake up in Old Town. After which a lot of stuff happens. We basically learn Blue had, I'm trying to get through this a little faster, sorry. Blue has a relationship as bartender's assistant, has history with Chris and a few other shells. We see the sort of like the after effects of Watcher's act of rebellion, assassination. Get a little hint of what the provisional government is like. The ties to the CCP become very clear in this part of the story in particular, with the literal Red Guard. Guys, they're literally called the Red Guard. I thought that was really funny. I was like, wow, this game must be like mega banned in China. Like, I didn't really think to ask that question really hard until then, because I was like, everything else is like just subtle enough. I'm sure they can fly under the radar. After which, bartender gets assassinated, shot herself in the back of her head, which leads to Blue getting her biometrics updated, going upstairs, and then getting involved in a bomb plot because it is the precise date of the stage event where Principal does her copium bullshit. And then it cuts into the flashback sequence of Watcher's period of time in the cell. Wait, no, that's not true. No, hold on. After the bomb plot, Cherry Jiao, I think, was it Cherry Jiao? Cherry Jiao saves you, like sacrifices herself to save you is the implication. You run off, go to the subway. There's the whole crazy, like, super visual sequence of, like, the umbrellas and tear gas and police. Very Hong Kong. You make it to the subway station. The Red Guard accosts you. BBF shoots a guy. You get on the subway, and then Fixer shows up. And then right as you're like, what the fuck, Fixer? Secretary shows up. And then goes, I'm ending the communion. I'm rebooting the communion. So, after which, you wake up in the car. When does the sequence...
Thought I was just...
What?
Are you miscellaneous?
No, you don't wake up in the car. After Secretary's like, I'm rebooting the sequence, that's this one. You wake up in this Watcher sequence. This one. Okay. I think Healer was the first in saying, I need you to admit that you had a choice and you made the wrong one. Well, Healer was the first one to call Watcher out, not for sacrilege, but for not knowing her cause. Like, being too passive. Nowhere calls Watcher out for sacrilege. Those are two different call-outs, right? The containment interrogation sequence is a good way to put it, yes. And then we enter the containment interrogation sequence. After which we get this scene with Watcher, where Watcher's like, and now time moves forward. Like, basically the dev saying like, hey, everything up until now has been memory. From here on out, we start to make decisions. And so we get the rescue sequence, I think, with them breaking Watcher out of the cell. Buddy. Is that right? Yeah. And then you wake up in the train. We get this whole train sequence, and then they're like, Watcher's dying. do not commune with her. And then you're like, hey, Watcher, they say you're dying and we can't commune. And the Watcher's like, commune now. And then you commune. Which leads to actually a really eclectic collection of scenes that we've mostly seen before and are revisiting. But this time, like, as Watcher and Blue together, we like chase her through the scenes. And Watcher's obviously in denial about the current situation and also her own imminent death. And then she dies. And then we leave the subway train and walk to where the sequence with the descent, the 50 descent, happens, during which we learn the more complete context of like what this ship is that we're on, who was piloting it, who made it, what the purpose of it was, who were the 50, what was their goal. We get all of that. And then Fixer gets the biometrics she needs, some dude's eyeballs with some healer magic. And we also confront the various parties and stakeholders in this revolution. I really named it Get Rebase Master. So this was the, like, here are all the parties involved. I thought this might be the choices matter moment, but it wasn't. Okay. We get some principal / youngest backstory, and then it's the rooftop sequence with Mauve. My name isn't Mauve. BBF gets fucking shot. It gets really crazy in my head at this part. Secretary is like, I'm within range. It's time to initiate the mass communion, which was their plan. Was that if they do a mass communion with all of the clones, that people will become aligned. That clearly doesn't happen, but that's the idea. In the mass communion, oh yeah, Secretary's like, you're falling and you have like 5 minutes or whatever. That was a time. I almost failed. And then we get to play a Secretary for a hot minute, communing with, like, rejoining Source. And then we learn a bit more about Source, and this is where the full Source poem becomes finally explained after I've been thinking about it for this whole time. And then we get my favorite sequence in the whole game, which is the alleyways sequence. I don't know what else to call it. We learn a lot of things, like how Noah was visiting Bartender at the secret bar. Oh god, sorry, this recap is like, it's so complex. The impossible conversations was what one person called it in the comments. After the impossible sequence, Secretary essentially wrests control over Source. A close parallel from Iris's whole situation with her clones, which is really fun. I wasn't expecting Secretary to be part of the whole motherhood theme, but they were. And then we enter the ending sequence, essentially. So, okay. I think we did it. That took a lot of focus. I just want to pat myself on the back. My brain hurts, guys. This game was a lot. I like that the Mass Communion bad endings is basically the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy gun failing, because even if they do fully comprehend your perspective, they might still kill you anyway. Yeah, that's what pissed me off so much about the Let This Thread Be Wild ending. Brain hurty for real. Okay. Great game. Sounds insane based on that recap, actually, but it's a great fucking game. It was one of those, like, so this game is ending now, right? And then, like, but wait, there's more. It was like nonstop, but wait, there's more. And usually, the last time I felt this way about a constant chain of but wait, there's more, it was Undertale. Like, Undertale True Pacifist ending. I was like, there's more! And then I was just, like, ugly sobbing for 7 hours straight. That's what this felt like, except I wasn't ugly sobbing. I was head in hands. So, and this game is one of those, like, every time you think you finally have it figured out, they're like, oh, Ooh, you thought. But it's fun, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, so that was our recap. I'm going to die. I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm absorbing so much right now. Great Thai iced tea. I'm gonna pour myself some tea. Okay, I should end stream in probably a few minutes, but it's fine. There's a lot I want to talk to you about, so I'm going to extend a little bit. You have to Shinji pose on a chair after you're done with it. Taisi, thank you for the stretch. There's still too much we need to talk about, guys. I thought 2 hours would be enough. I was a fool. A lot to chew on here, truly. Okay, here is where I have a lot of questions for you guys. And I'm going to just go ahead and open this document. And if you guys want to come in here and join me, please do. I will ask you to just stick to... Here, I'm going to do this. Please keep your writing above this line. And I'm going to ask you one question at a time. So let's start with the... Actually, no. Let's start about everyone. Let's start with this one. Who is everyone's favorite character? So feel free to... If you want to just like prefix like this, your name. Did I give you guys edit access? Yeah. Okay. You can just prefix like that. And then next question pending. Just make a placeholder for it. Okay. Let's start there. Also tell me why. And I think I will leave it open to just your favorite character in general through the game. I've already established myself as a knower defender. A knower apologist, I should say. Is that correct? Would I like healer better? Do I like healer better? Do I like healer better than knower? This is really hard, guys. I don't... It's so hard. It's a toss-up for me between healer, knower, BBF. Weirdly, Principal? I really liked Principal. I can't explain why. I loved Principal. I think it's because I'm a sucker for like forgiveness stories. So I got the red endings first, as you guys saw in the playthrough. I loved it. I liked it better than the blue epitaphs. I like the red epitaphs better, which I think might be a controversial opinion. I think Zhao is a strong, like, specifically Candy Zhao is a strong contender. Ooh, and Bartender. Bartender's also up there. No, I'm gonna go knower. Yeah. Final answer, knower. I think a character of this level of like ambiguity, complexity, and yet also what I believe to be clear motivations and priorities, and arid burr style, patient revolutionary, except Burr was a chicken and knower is not. And a survivor. Like, I think it's hard to pull off a true moral gray zone, no right answers, doing their best despite everything, actively choosing evil in the short term to serve the arc of justice bending, or the arc of, what was it, the arc of history bending towards justice kind of character. Her character writing was just stunning. I like that you kind of have no choice but to really seriously ponder your opinion on knower. A knower always knows. Capital Red is a runner-up for Asuna. Wow, interesting. Okay, yeah, feel free to take your guys' time and continue inserting as I move on to other questions. My next one is most memorable moments and scenes. and then if anyone wants to go after me. I think the BBF communion, like parents in the white space sequence. Knower and it was Fixer and Watcher above the sky. I should say above the sky. What else really stuck with me? There was a lot. It's overwhelming. Oh, Iris and Mom in stairwell. Dad on the beach chairs in Hong Kong. The post-bomb sequence, police tear gas umbrella sequence. I think these are like the visual things. And then textually, the hekki allmo, like the Allmother's poem. But that's kind of a cheap answer. And then finally, okay, we addressed this situation a little, kind of. I wish we could spend longer talking about it, but I do want to get to other things. Let's talk about the fucking ending. How do I want to talk about the fucking ending? Should I just ask for everybody's favorite? Or just opinions? How did you feel about this? Leave it open-ended? Okay, let's do these. Let's do these two as the final questions. Is how do you feel about the choices matter ending sequence with the lights in the water? And finally, she's a really layered villain. It's hard to even call her a villain, Asuna. Like, I think she played the part of a villain when it was necessary. And then by the end of it, I was no longer convinced that she was even a villain. I like no longer believe she's a villain. I think I was at times quite convinced that she was, and that was literally what she wanted us to think. She wanted everybody to think it. Okay, and then finally, let's conclude on this one. And then I want to look at the poetry. I will discuss this one on stream. I will literally just verbally talk about this one and then already said on stream, but it's a game about Hong Kong and motherhood and generational trauma, cycles of violence. What's the phrase I kept using? The subjectivity of reality. Whoa, Lord Bakewin the Second! Thank you for 5 gift subs. I appreciate it. Very generous of you. Congratulations to Dongju, Rigatoni, Shio Unicorn. I keep saying Shio Shikso, Unicorn, Glacier, and Stim408. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Is it to celebrate us coming to the end of this arduous document? Thank you, Lord Liquid Bacon. The subjectivity of memory, perceived reality, and importance of perspective in perception. Oh my god, this sentence is just getting more and more like pretentious lit major. I'm sorry. It's like these words mean things, but it feels stupid as I write them. Fractals. Refraction. This game changed my life. That's how I hard sell. Yeah, you guys can just type anything. As long as just please keep your typing above this line. But feel free to leave comments anywhere. I love that somebody changed the font to make it more. It's Times New Roman. You guys are funny. You guys are funny. Okay, I'll make it bright red so you don't miss it. So you can like highlight and leave comments if you want, but if you're typing, please keep it above the line. Yeah, someone make a Comic Sans, I'll kill you. These words mean things. It's because sometimes scholars write with words like this and then like it doesn't mean anything, you know what I mean? Like it's truly purple prose for the sake of sounding fancy, and that makes me really mad. And then when I do it, I'm like, but when I do it, it's not purple prose, it means something. It's just me being pretentious. I do apologize. I know what it looks like, and I am in fact a filthy nerd. That's why you guys are also filthy nerds, guys. Birds of a feather flock together, okay? Are you in this document typing with me? Then you're a fellow nerd, bitch. Love this game and your analysis of everything. Thank you so much for the videos, although we disagree with the importance of the ending. No, I agree. I think I would agree with you about the importance of the ending in reoccur. I actually haven't gone in depth about my opinions on the ending yet. Thank you, Koanos. Let me see how I can summarize my thoughts about the ending. I mean, I think if you watched me play through it, my thoughts are pretty clear. But my summary of it would be, Mauve was done dirty. And by that, I don't mean that I agree that we should have paid a price for not making an adjustment. I agree that when I approached the ending, I was thinking from the perspective of what would Watcher want us to do? And then what would Blue want to do? And I felt like Blue would want to change something. And Secretary would also. Like, the power that Secretary grants us is the power of change that exists only, like, at a level that only exists in fiction. In the context of this, like, siloed unreality, what are the idealisms that we can actually make happen? Also, because of all of the stuff with the whale and the, like, you can't fit everything in your backpack, like, it was really clear that the dev intention is we have to make a difference here. I actually really like that. I like the execution of the ending. The only ending I had a qualm with was the let this thread be wild ending, which is where I mean that Mauve was done dirty. Because I think up until this point, I think some people disagree with me. I think there have been people in chat who think that like Mauve should have gotten more, like we should have had more time with Mauve. I saw a comment somewhere that was like Mauve needed more time in the oven. I think I don't disagree with all those things, but I was okay with what we saw of Mauve up until the point where we decide whether to keep her light on or not. My issue was with, if you keep Mauve's light on, I agree that a hefty price must be paid. I disagree that what we see of that ending is just Mauve showing up and crushing our skulls. Like, that does her dirty. I think that ending deserved a lot more breathing room. And they like, usually I'm like, oh, you know, like dev time is expensive and like this game is already so long and they have limited resources and I'm really forgiving about that kind of thing. That was an ending where I feel like something substantial was really important. Like it really should have been, yes, the heavy price should have been paid. I should have felt that heaviness with a lot more impact than just opening my eyes and seeing Mauve crushing my skull. Like, I wanted more. I knew it was the wrong choice and I wanted more. So that's kind of where I'm at with the ending. Also, like, upsetting to me. There was somebody left a comment that was like, okay, so my comment was, why is it that this is called Let This Thread Be Wild and then it's just Mauve killing us? Like, there's nothing wild about this thread. Fuck you. It felt so rushed. Yeah, I felt like it really needed more breathing room. That would have been such a good window to learn more, to actually even to convince us as to why we need to cut off threads like Mauve. I wasn't convinced. After that ending, I wasn't convinced. It didn't feel believable. It didn't feel properly thought through. It just felt like a really like brash punishment for what I felt like was a decision I had made very thoughtfully. Like I knew it was the wrong one and I wanted to know what the consequences were. And the consequences like felt shallow to me, you know? So I was just like, what the fuck, bro? This isn't a wild thread. So I was so excited, man. They were like, let this thread be wild. And I was like, oh yeah, like what's about to happen? And then you just like die in 2 seconds. And I was like, okay. Man, fuck you. Like, so a huge Sunset Visitor fan. I would like defend this game with my dying breath. But that ending, man, fuck you. I say this with all the love in my heart, but man, fuck you. Every other ending I really enjoyed. I do wish that another wish list item, it's not a complaint, but a wish list item would be if there were something to do with because if you turn your parents' light on or off, nothing happens. And I kind of wish that there was something there. Yeah. I don't want to be a picture's heart-rending last words. Oh, that's true. Those are heart-rending last words. The generational holograms of Asian tiger parenting knows no bounds. A callback to being abused by our parents is crazy. But yeah, those are, I think the ending is actually quite divisive based on what I read in the reviews and like what people were saying online. I like that it's divisive. I like that not everybody likes the sudden choices matter segment. To me, like the way I think about the ending is that the true end was the sequence of impossible conversations in the alleyways. I think of that as the true ending of this game. And then everything after that with the street lights in the water is like a hypothetical future. I accept none of the endings as canon. I let the thread be wild. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, the thread is wild. And when I think about it like that, I really, really love the ending. I think of it as bonus content and I love it as bonus content. So, yep, that's my take. But I am curious for your guys's on the ending. I'm going to read through your guys' comments in a moment. I just want to make sure there wasn't something else I wanted to touch on. Oh, okay. I'm going to read through your guys' comments and then I will sing Fix Your Song for you and then we'll end. I think we're good other than that. I like that Koanos appears to be leaving like formatting notes. Control-Shift-V is one of my favorite keyboard shortcuts, by the way, in Google Docs specifically. Oh, the reason I was like leave comments anywhere is also because I'm sure there's like themes and symbols that I missed or things you want to add to this bullet point list, in which case please do it as a comment. Oh, right. I wanted to look at the poems. Oh man, honestly, that's like a whole stream on its own. We'll save that. I think we'll save these poems for maybe someday later or like as part of a just chatting stream later when we're just hanging out. We'll save that. I'm genuinely out of time today. I'm sorry. You know what? I can see that. Yeah, Kami, exactly. It's like how last stream when Capitano removed his mask and then I didn't get to see the under mask, I successfully gaslit myself into being like, you know what? That was the correct developer choice to not show us. I am calm and at peace. And I support the developer decision to keep things ambiguous. Especially given how a like blue and red ending were in a sense. Yes, exactly. I can see a vein. I'm going crazy. Okay. We reached the 1200 word mark, nerds. I will... Where should I share this document with you guys after? I guess I'll share it in the Discord server somewhere under... I don't know where I would put this. I guess I'll just put it under my schedules channel and pin it. But I think I want to do this kind of discussion document more often. So eventually I'm going to amass a folder and then we can just pin the folder together. Okay, let's save the poems. I'm going to read your comments and then we're going to sing. Okay, cool. Let's see. Asuna says a knower always knows. Capital R, I read this one. The Capital Red runner-up was so wild. I love that though. Mauve being a runner-up is really cool to me. I agree. She's a very interesting character. Indioker says, Iris, we saw all the sides of Iris and I still like her despite everything, especially reflecting back into the rough light that Principal is trying to portray her on. You're right, because we saw Principal's point of view so much and not always Iris's point of view. On the initial 4 communions may not be untrue, but is purposefully leaving out the good qualities that she had. And she was clearly really repentant about Jiao also. Maybe Nowhere's my second favorite and then Father because that man does... Dad is so cool. I really love Dad. It also means a lot to me that Dad's dialogue color was green. Like the implication that Dad is a fixer type. And Mom is a knower type. Oh, I'm really just like emotional thinking about Dad being a fixer type. Okay. Get it together. Okay, comatose. Toss up between Cherry Jam and BBF. It's hard for me to not like characters, not to like characters who are forced into situations. Fair. And Cherry Jam and BBF both did the best with what they had. They were both like softies in a cruel world, you know. TM Biscuits, I haven't really been able to watch your Resist streams, so based on what I've heard about it during stream, I kind of like know her, even though I know nothing. I like that you're weighing in knowing nothing. I love that. I see Sky. I'm most fond of Nowhere and Fixer because I love when characters hold most of themselves back and force you to chew on them. Yes! You're right. Fixer is one of those characters. I do not give Fixer enough credit for that. Kono says the occupants are nice. Bro, that's wild. Fun take. Squirrel says, I agree, Iris. I relate to her having been a crappy kid with anger issues. So true, me too. It made me sad that even when she matured, she never got the chance to have true peace. Even after 1,000 plus years, she was being used and traumatized by the occupants. Also Healer just because she's cool, although I'd be afraid to meet her in real life. Healer's the kind of friend who would be like constantly calling you out or calling you in. Like the, do you need an intervention type friend? So true. I live and die by my words, even as I bleed out of my eyes. Okay. Well, I guess you would be crying to death. Okay, most memorable scenes. Austin says, I can't be a picture like dad. BBF watching the rain. I did like BBF watching the rain. Noah revealing what happened to her watcher, and I have you instead of her. That line did really hit. The line delivery on it was so good too. All of Noah's line delivery. Like, if I'm gonna pick a favorite voice actor, it was also Noah. I mean, obviously, Watcher had the hardest job, I think. No, Noah had the hardest job. Watcher had the second hardest job. Kono's colors are awesome. I do think the colors theming and symbolism setup was really beautifully done. Like, it could have been an easily like a cheap, overdone gimmick, and instead it was just like elegant. Like the whole red to blue situation. I see this guy says, Dad's last videotape. That did fuck me up. Yeah. I think despite everything, despite how hard this game hit me, I actually didn't cry over it that much compared to other games. Like, I keep saying Undertale made me cry literally for 7 hours straight. Like, this one in comparison, not the same degree of tears. Same degree of emotional impact, not the same degree of tears. But Dad's last videotape took me out. I was just down for the count for a hot minute. Iris is the most relatable, but Noah's your favorite. It's true. I get it. Iris's birthday party with the sisters for Squirrel. First Zhao clone was horrifying. It was very jarring. Komoto says the last climb was a good climax of the game. The last climb. Oh. The 5 minutes that, was it 7 minutes? Something like that. The timer that Secretary put us on. Hatamisu says, I'm only at the start of chapter 3 finished VOD, but Iris, mom and dad. I think anyone who says mom and dad is saying the correct answer. Okay, choices matter. Asuna says, I wish more of the endings were more fleshed out. But I do somewhat appreciate Sunset straight up going, you choose wrong, no credits, choose again. I know, I did appreciate that also. Like, there are 2 true endings, and then there's all of the other endings. And if you don't get a true ending, we're gonna reset you until you get a true ending. I agree. I like how this person is just like, I'm just gonna anonymously answer this. I like it. Everyone deserves forgiveness, but you can't do shit about those who want to shoot you. It's a very real paradox. Right, that like, principle deserves forgiveness, but Mauve doesn't. Oh, thank you for the anonymous gift sub to Kaleidocrow. That's cute. I don't know who did that, but thank you. It's an FF14 badge. Oh, I do like the FF14 cat. The fat cat is really good. Squirrel says, I wish they showed more of what happened after each of the endings, but I guess that fits with the theme. Yeah, I agree. I like the remains. Yeah. It doesn't belong to us. I do agree ideologically with the keeping of the red guard and Mauve not leading to anything positive. I agree with the decision that you have to get a true ending, you have to not have the red guard or Mauve. I disagree with the consequences of leaving. Actually, the red guard one is fine. Just getting executed. Yeah, okay. But leaving Mauve, I do think my opinion is somewhat biased by the fact that I really like Mauve as a character. Which is, I'm like, they did her dirty. Okay. How do you convince someone else? Kono says, think of a good game. Multiply that by 1,000. Konos' word economy is always like top notch. Asuna says, this post, it's a blue sky. Oh, I've seen this. Yeah, not a game with combat, not an emotionally cozy game, not a quick story. But what it is a doomed Yuri simulator. Simulator being a key word here. A game that will break your heart and maybe not put it back together. And a story you won't forget anytime soon. I like that it's their own like Sunset Visitor post. That's fantastic. Thank you, Asuna. I see Sai says, imagine if what is EEAAO? I've seen this around a lot. Oh, everything everywhere all at once. I see. Kills more characters. We barely even got to discuss diaspora experience. It's okay. I'm sure it'll come up a lot. Is the dirt room green heaven? Yes, it is. What if all the endings are canon? What if the occupants are just clones traveling backwards in time? Yeah, actually, if you guys want to leave more questions, please feel free also. What the fuck? I'm happy for you, Konos. Who would I cosplay? I would cosplay Nowhere. I saw a Nowhere cosplay at SoccerCon, and it made me so happy that I was like, I must someday inspire joy like this in someone else. It was so cool. They had like her plates, like the shoulder plate and the knee plate thing glowed. They glowed purple. So cool. Okay. Should I sing for you guys? I'll sing while you guys write. I think that's fun. I'll make it smaller so I can see everyone's cursors. Okay, I'll turn on reverb. Let me get the lyrics. Fix your song. What key? I think that's good. Is reverb on? Okay, here goes nothing. Mother loves you and cares for all your sisters. She has power and wisdom beyond imagine. If there's danger, she surely has prepared us. I dreamed we sisters were the stars up in the sky, all gently tethered to a brilliant sun for life. The All-Mother, she shines so bright. But Mother's glow is not as warm as it had seemed to be, and it feels very far from me. And it feels very far from me. Love your mother and trust in her teaching. Do your duties and carry out your function for a future far from sin or incineration. I don't know this part as well. Let's see. We're all just flowers in a garden of her making. Soon we'll grow beautiful enough to be worth taking. The All-Mother, she shines so bright. But Mother's glow is not as warm as it had seemed to be, and it feels very far from me. And it feels very far from me. Woo! And that's a wrap on 1000 times resist! Thank you for joining me for a lot of psychic damage! I will never be the same after this game. And I hope you guys feel similarly about it. All right. Yay, psychic damage. I love games that do psychic damage to me. Gotta be honest, it's fun. That's how you know a game really hit you, is when it hurts. Like it hits you where it hurts and then you're like, oh, I felt that. That's when the game hits. That's the kind of game I like. I like the kind of game that deals emotional damage. Emotional damage. Okay. Thank you guys for joining me for a extremely nerdy breakdown and analysis together. Was it fun? Did you guys I feel like people were very participatory, so I'm assuming you had fun. But it's a format that I want to do more of for future games selectively. if I post Let's Plays of them and I don't do it on stream, then I want to do this. And then in the cases where I do stream the game, I feel like after Signalis, I really wish I had done something like this, like taken notes together with everybody and did some like, we did drill down an analysis. We didn't write any of it down, and I like really would have liked having a document after that to like look back on. So I think Signalis was the last time where I was like, oh, I really wish we could have talked about it more, or at least written down what we discussed. So that's where this came from. I think other games I've like been satisfied just discussing it with you guys like verbally, but some games just have a degree of complexity that I think requires, you know how people say like writing is thinking? I think this helps me process it. And I like doing it together with you guys. Like, I think it's really fun. I had loads of fun. Awesome! You guys look like you all had fun. Okay, great. Awesome. It was really good. Loki could have talked hours about it. Yeah, I think the lesson I learned today is to allocate longer than 2 hours. I could have spent another hour just going through the All Mother poem and the like occupants one. But I guess we'll have to save that one. I'll actually watch your gameplay after this. Thank you, Kaleidocrow. It's long. I mean, you know, it's a long game. Obviously, you're familiar with it, but Jesus Christ, what a game! Be sure to check the secret tab. The secret tabs. What the fuck? Oh, you guys are fun. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, have a wonderful time of day. I currently have no scheduled streams, but the next one should be a return to the Genshin grind. I might upload a Let's Play. I've been recording it. I've been deciding, it's a game called Purgatory, P-U-R-R, Purgatory, Purgatory. So if I enjoy the ending, I will upload the whole Let's Play in 2 segments. If it's just mid, I probably won't upload it. Okay, I will see you all next stream. Thank you all for joining. This was super fun. Meow, indeed, indeed. I'll drop a link for the document in the Discord, and that's it. See you all next time. The drunk shells in the bar spitballing new functions. Exactly, Asuna. Exactly. All right. See you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.